Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video here on FPL Now, your #1 source for tips, tricks, and everything you need to know for Fantasy Premier League football. Today we're going to be going over some Game Week 8 wildcard watch lists, some players that you should keep your eye on during the international break. So if you're excited for the video, drop a like down below. Let's try and hit 15. Leave a comment, who are you bringing in this week? Subscribe if you're brand new. Let's get into the video. So, starting things off, what I'm going to do in this watch list video is just show you 5 players that you should definitely think about bringing in if you're on your Game Week 8 wildcard. Even if you're not on your wildcard, these players could still fit into your team very, very well. But of course, don't make any transfers yet. There's a lot of injuries going around. I think Jota might potentially be injured. Torres came off early. Loads of things are happening. So just keep hold of your transfers until after the international break. But we're starting off with Raul Jimenez. Really finding some form now for the Wolves team. He obviously got 2 assists in the last game week, got 10 points. If you own him, he saved your game week. And the game week before that, he scored. So he's definitely back into the points now. He's on penalties as well, which is obviously very, very nice. Always a huge bonus. His expected goals is 1.9. Expected assists is 1.4. As I said, he has scored a goal already, he's assisted twice, and he's only in 6.1% of teams. A lot of people are going to go for Hwang because he's a lot cheaper, but again, he's not confirmed to start like every single game, whereas Jimenez, you don't really have to worry about that. He's going to play 90 minutes of every single game. He is back for Game Week 8 as well. He's gone away with Mexico during the international break, but it has been confirmed that he will be back playing for Wolves, ready for Game Week 8. Whereas Argentinian and Brazilian players might not be. There has been some words about that they're not going to be ready for Game Week 8, so they might not be back until Game Week 9. So the likes of Rafinha, Alisson, Firmino, like all of these players, they probably won't be back for Game Week 8. We don't know yet, but just keep that in mind if you're making some transfers. They've got a really good fixture, and of course, Aston Villa away in Game Week 8, and then Game Week 9, they've got Leeds away, Everton at home, Game Week 10, and then Game Week 11, Crystal Palace away, and then West Ham United at home. West Ham is like a red fixture, but at the same time, they just lost to Brentford. Brentford are an okay team, you know, they're doing very well this season, but West Ham, I think that maybe European football might be taking its toll a little bit on the team. Remember, if anything happens to Antonio as well, they don't really have a backup striker to fill in that position. So yeah, they're going to have to manage a few players, and some of these games they might have to put out weaker squads. So yeah, I don't think West Ham is like the scariest opposition that you could go up against. But Raul Jimenez is definitely someone you should keep your eyes on. Next up, we have Rudiger, the only nailed Chelsea defender in my opinion. Alonso was a player that a lot of people were bringing in, then he got benched. Chilwell is obviously back now. We don't know if Azpilicueta is going to start every game now that Reece James is probably going to be back after the international break. Thiago Silva, Christensen, like, who is going to start? Rudiger is the only one that is probably not going to miss any minutes this season, unless they're like already won the season or something like that and then he doesn't have to play. But Rudiger is nailed. He's a 5.8 mil defender. He doesn't have the best expected goals and expected assists, but that's because he's a centre back. Really would be much better if he was a fullback. So obviously they're just much more likely to get assists or goals. But Rudiger having a nailed spot on that Chelsea defence with the upcoming fixtures, I think has to be at your top spot for defenders that you're bringing in this week, especially from Chelsea. Again, his expected goals and expected assists very low, 0.4, 0.1. He has scored already this season though. He's owned by over 20% of teams, and I think that's going to even go higher during the international break. Again, their fixture run is ridiculous. Brentford away, which is probably one of the harder ones on that list, just because of how good Brentford have been. But then they've got Norwich at home, which is a fixture that a lot of people are going to be targeting. A lot of people are going to be captaining Lukaku that game week. It is the best fixture you can have all season. Norwich at home, there's nothing better than that. Norwich away being the second best fixture, but Norwich at home it's just the cherry on top, that you just cannot get better than that. Then they've got Newcastle away. Obviously, they just had a massive takeover, so Newcastle's an interesting one at the moment, because there's going to be a lot of, I don't know, just positivity surrounding the club now, and they're probably going to have quite a big January transfer window as well. So I don't know, Newcastle's a little bit of an interesting one at the moment, but I still expect Chelsea to win that game and probably keep a clean sheet too. Burnley at home, Burnley another team that not really started the season that well. So hopefully should be a clean sheet there as well. And then Leicester away, Leicester leaking in a bunch of goals. So there should be like 3 or 4 clean sheets over the next 5 game weeks for Rudiger. And as I said, a lot of people are bringing him in. So if you don't have a Chelsea asset at the back, you're probably going to fall behind quite a bit, just simply because a lot of people own these players and they're most likely going to get returns over the next 5 game weeks. So yes, if you are bringing in a Chelsea defender, I would say Rudiger has to be at the top of the list just because he's nailed. You don't really want to be spending 5 to 6 mil on a Chelsea defender and then them not to play. Coming up next, we have Livramento. Now, I spoke about him in my transfer tips video, and again, I still think you should be bringing in. He's definitely someone you should take a look at. He's a very, very cheap option, 4.2 mil defender. He's played every single minute of every single game so far this season for Southampton, and they have a really, really good fixture run. So again, if you are bringing in Alonso, you want to take a bit of a risk. You're bringing in Alonso, Chilwell, Reece James, Azpilicueta, whatever, and they don't play, you have Livramento to back them up because they have really, really nice fixtures as well. Leeds at home in game week 8, then Burnley at home in game week 9, Watford away in game week 10, game week 11 is Villa at home, and then Norwich away in game week 12. So as you can see, it just lines up really, really nicely with the Chelsea fixtures. All 5 of them are very, very nice fixtures for both teams. He doesn't have a very big threat going forward. I mean, his expected goals is only 0.1. He has got an XA of expected assist of 1. He did get the assist for the Chelsea penalty. It's obviously 0 on the screen because the stats thing that the website that I took it off doesn't, like, FPL assists work a little bit differently. Like if you win a penalty, it's not considered as an assist in actual stats, but on FPL it is. So that's why it says 0. But he is owned by 13% of teams. He's probably going to get a price rise as well. A lot of people are kind of taking a look at now and being like, okay, those fixtures are good, he's cheap, get him in my team. So he's going to be on a lot of wildcard teams. So if you're wildcarding, I definitely think you should bring in this guy. He's just a really, really good, nice asset, especially because he's got just really, really good fixtures coming up as well. Next up, now this is an interesting one, Sonny. A lot of people are kind of bringing him in, and I understand why. He's 10 mil, so a lot of people are kind of getting rid of Grealish, your Jota, and then bringing up, they're using all the money from like Trent or something, and they're just putting it into midfield and they're bringing in Son. Son seems to be the only player at Spurs that's really doing anything. Like, Kane hasn't scored yet this season for Spurs in the Premier League, whereas Sonny has an expected goal potential of 1.9, expected assist of 0.5. He's scored 3 so far, he's assisted 2 so far, he's in 13% of teams, but the only problem is his upcoming fixtures. Now, a lot of people are bringing him in on their wild card so he can attack the Newcastle game, which again, you're not really too sure how that's going to go because of the takeover, especially it's going to be at home at Newcastle. So that is going to be before the takeover, that would have been a great fixture, but now I think there's going to be so much positivity, adrenaline in that stadium. Like, the atmosphere is going to be crazy. The Newcastle fans are going to turn up. So I think that's going to be quite a tough fixture now. And then he has West Ham away, Man United at home, and then Everton away. Game week 12 onwards, he has like 4 or 5 really, really good fixtures. So it's really up to you. Do you want to take the chance that he doesn't blank against Newcastle and he scores, and then he can still get something against West Ham, Man United, and Everton? You know, all 3 of those defenses haven't been too good that season. And then you have him ready for game week 12, which is Leeds, and I think Norwich is in there, and like Burnley as well. So you wouldn't have to think about using a transfer up then. But is the money that you're going to be using to upgrade to Son, could that be used elsewhere, and then you bring in Son game week 12? Like, I really want Son, but I think I'm probably going to bring him in. It depends. Like I said earlier on in the video, I still have Jota if he's injured. Like, if he's not injured, I'm obviously going to play Jota because Firmino probably won't be able to play because Brazilian players I don't think are going to be allowed to play game week 8. So I'd obviously play Jota because he's got Watford away. But if Jota is injured, then I might upgrade Jota to Son and obviously have him for that Newcastle game. But again, I also want Cancelo. So yeah, there's a lot of issues going on there. But it is really up to you. Like, do you want to have Son ready for those game week 12, 13, 14, 15 fixtures, which are like Leeds, Norwich, Burnley? That's really, really nice fixtures. But obviously you'd have to waste a transfer or just bring him in now and have to hope that he does roll over and get some nice points during those red fixtures. I think Son is a good asset though, and if Kane starts firing as well, it's only going to make Son even better. Finishing things off is one of those Brazilian players that I have been speaking about, Rafinha. So Rafinha is still in the wildcard watch list video. Well, first of all, it's a watch list, so it's just players that you should be watching during the international break. So if we get confirmation that Rafinha is available to play in game week 8, then that's great. If he can't play, I still think he is someone that you should bring in on your wild card because he will miss the Southampton game. But again, if you have Livramento, you can just play him instead, which is Leeds at home. And obviously Leeds won't really have that many attacking players. Like Bamford's still going to be out. Rafinha won't be playing. So maybe that's a clean sheet there for Southampton. And then he has Wolves at home, Norwich away, Leicester, Tottenham. All okay fixtures for Rafinha. And Rafinha's just a very, very cheap player. He's only 6.6 mil, XG of 2.4, expected assist 1.4. He scored 3 already this season, owned by 20% of teams. I think Rafinha is a nice little asset to have because he's just a really, really cheap option, and he just scores for Leeds. And hopefully Leeds do find their form, and Rafinha hopefully will be at the heart of all that. But yeah, Rafinha is a player that I think you should be taking a look at the moment. But again, just make sure you keep your eye out on the news because, again, Brazilian players might not be able to play game week 8. So if that's the case, maybe you don't bring him in on your wild card and then you use your transfer next week and bring him in for the Wolves game. It's really up to you. But anyway, that's going to be everything for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to drop a like down below. Let's try it at 15. Leave a comment. Who are you bringing in on your wildcard this week if you have activated the button? If not, who are you transferring in and out this week? Subscribe if you're brand new. That's everything from me. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And until next time, peace.